There's been a lot of rumors over the past week or so that Messi will no longer be a Barcelona player, and there's some that he's still going to renew, and Laporta saying that everything's fine. So let's go ahead and take this video to kind of analyze and talk about the reasons why Messi probably won't be a Barcelona player again. What's up, guys? Welcome back to El Merengue Cule. Now, I'm gonna put this disclaimer. Now, if you're obviously a subscriber to the account, you know I'm a Madridista, you know I'm a Real Madrid fan. However, I still believe that this whole Messi news, not only does it impact Barcelona heavily, but it could impact also Real Madrid in a certain way. So this is why I think it's important that we discuss it. And while maybe some of my opinions may be biased in a certain way, I want you to let me know down in the comments. I want you to let me know if you disagree with something I'm saying, or if you think I'm wrong for whatever reason. I'm open to criticism and open to you guys' opinions. I just want to say that right off the bat. But essentially, let's start kind of discussing on the history of what's happened. Obviously, Barcelona's been trying to renew Messi for the past year, and it was always out there said that, everything was fine, Messi would renew sooner rather than later, and the months just kind of kept on going by, and still no renewal from Messi. And then we hit June, and it was like, well, Messi has less than a month to renew, and I still expected myself, I was like, okay, probably 2-3 days before June 30th, which was his contract's deadline, they'll announce, oh, Messi has renewed for this much. And over that time, people started giving out the numbers that supposedly Messi had accepted with Barcelona and agreed with Barcelona for his contract renewal, which would basically be not decreasing his salary one bit, but rather extending the amount of years that Barca would pay him that same amount of salary from signing a 2-year contract and getting that same salary to now him getting paid over the span of 3 years. So that's what was being said. And then out of nowhere, June 30th came and no renewal from Messi. And at that point, people talked to Laporta, went out there and said everything's fine, Messi's still going to renew, and the weeks keep going by. And over these past couple weeks, it's come to the light that Messi's renewal is not going to be as easy as once promised to Barcelona fans. And exactly what changed? Well, the problem is that Messi's renewal is no longer coming in from a player that was already a Barcelona player who still had a contract with them and just had to renew. Now Messi is not a Barcelona player. Messi's a free agent at this point and has to sign with Barcelona. Just like Depay, Agüero, Eric Garcia, and what's his other name did? Wijnaldum. No, sorry, Wijnaldum didn't end up signing. Anyways, just like them, he would have to just sign a contract with Barcelona. And basically, whenever you're a new player signing a contract with a new team, at least in La Liga, there's what they're calling the 4-for-1 rule. So essentially, whatever salary you're going to pay this new free agent that's coming into your club, you have to demonstrate to La Liga that you have 4 times that amount of money to basically proceed with the signature of the player and everything that goes along with it. And essentially, Messi's contract that he would be signing would be for 100 million euros per year. So if you go back to the 4-by-1 rule, Barcelona has to demonstrate that they have 400 million euros to sign Messi's contract. Now, let's just take a step there, because Barcelona has already signed all these other free agents. And between the signatures of Agüero, Eric Garcia, Depay, and also Emerson from Real Betis, all those salaries are adding up to 36 million. If you times that by 4, it's around 140 million, okay? So you add those two, the 140 million to the 400 million that Barcelona requires to sign Messi, and it adds up to 540 million, which at that point is over $500 million, and you're really asking yourself the question, can Barcelona pay this whenever we've been talking about all the debt they've had? Now, I've been doing some thinking about this, and obviously, you start to say, well, obviously they need to sell players. They brought in Agüero, Depay, they need to sell attacking players and whatnot. And then over the past few weeks, or over the past few days, there's been talk that Griezmann could be the one to sell. And so let's kind of dive in a little more into how that would work. Say you sell Griezmann for 80 million euros, which is still, considering Griezmann's performance, could be a tiny bit high. Maybe I think he would maybe go for like 65, 70, but let's just say you sell him for 80 million. Griezmann is still not a player that is fully paid for, right? Whenever Barcelona bought him from Atletico Madrid, you pay him over time. So essentially, Barcelona would only, those 80 million that they received, a certain amount of that money would still go to finish paying for Griezmann to Atletico Madrid for the, whenever they initially agreed on that. And so essentially Barcelona would only get a certain amount of million euros from that sale of Griezmann. On top of that, yes, they would save themselves having to pay his contract, which is a contract of 30 million euros. So let's just say from selling Griezmann, let's just say that Barcelona gets a grand total of 60 million euros. You subtract those 60 million euros from the initial quantity that I said, which was about 540 million euros for all the signings, including Messi, and that still leaves you with a grand total of 480 million still left to pay. So you just sold Griezmann, which is one of your most expensive, best players in your squad, yet you still have to get somehow 480 million euros more. Where does Barcelona get that? Now, there's the option of selling someone like Ansu Fati, who could maybe still go for 100 million. I'm not sure about after his injury if a team would want to pay that. But let's just say you sell him for 100 million. Those 100 million would actually completely go to Barcelona because he was just a player from the from La Masia, right? So you don't have to actually pay any other team for his fee anymore. But that's still selling Griezmann and Fati, and you still have about 380 million. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Now, I was thinking, well, there's got to be another way that Barcelona can still go on about this. And maybe out of nowhere, Barcelona could say, well, we're announcing that we just got a loan from this company that is about half a billion euros. But they just did that to pay off other debt. I don't think another company would now give them an additional 500 million to now do this. Do you see what I'm saying? The numbers just don't start to add up, and genuinely me, and I know I'm Madridista, but genuinely me, I'm just like, I don't see a way in which Barcelona can get this money, even if they sell big players. What, are you gonna sell De Jong? Are you gonna sell Griezmann? So now you're ending up selling basically your best players in the team to bring in Depay, Agüero. Doesn't seem right to me. Doesn't seem right. Now, I have a few conspiracies that I want to bring up, and obviously this is just entirely my thought process, not actual news. And I have multiple. One is that Laporta, when he joined Barcelona, he knew he couldn't join Barcelona saying we're gonna have to sell Messi because Barca just can't afford it. He knew he had to say Messi's gonna stay with us, blah 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 blah. Inspire Barcelona, inspire people, and that's how he won. But internally, he himself and Messi knew that him staying at Barcelona was not really an option. And that is saying that they did know of all these rules. Because I just don't see a world in that Barcelona's president didn't know about these basic rules for signing players, right? You would think they knew of these rules. So if Laporta already knew this coming into Barca, but had to just basically win the public opinion, and then just basically sell it to the fans as, look, we tried to renew him, but we weren't aware of all these clauses, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. And then Barca fans are just kind of like, okay, well, I guess we didn't know this, and it's probably just better. Laporta, I'm sure he knows. In terms of Barcelona's long-term future, forget about the next year or two. Barcelona's long-term future, re-signing Messi is not viable. It's not viable for the team, and I don't think it's a smart thing for Barcelona to do, because this might just lead the club to even more ruins and more debt. I think that's just like as straight up as it gets. I think Laporta, if he actually was aware of this clause, he is making, as much as it hurts to Barcelona fans, he's making the right decision by not re-signing him. Frankly, that's, I think, my opinion on that. Now, my other conspiracy theory is that even though Laporta did want to re-sign him, Messi didn't want to. Even though, because we never had Messi go out there and say publicly ever, after his interview a year ago saying he wanted to leave Barcelona, we never had Messi go and say, I want to stay at Barcelona. He was always like, well, things are going well, I'm happy right now, things are going well, but he never once said, I want to continue at Barcelona, right? So, all along, Messi's been playing like, yes, I'm happy, but also because he knows that at the end of the year, he was leaving. And now he goes to Copa America and he kind of just turns his back on the whole contract thing. He's like, yeah, well, right now I'm focused on Copa America. and then he can go out there and say, well, I wasn't actually aware of all these things. Me and Barcelona, we tried to renew, but we weren't able to. When really all along, Messi knew what was going to happen. Those are potential conspiracy theories that I kind of created for myself, thinking I'm like, okay, well, how could this come to be? Because it just doesn't make sense. How can all these people that are in charge of all of this oversee these rules? And also, whenever you kind of come back and think about this, that Messi knew he didn't want to renew and Laporta knew it wasn't good to renew him, maybe that's why he brought in Agüero, Depay, and all these players before Messi left, right? To already have the plan B set in motion. To me, it just makes sense. And then Tebas, basically the organizer of La Liga, going out there and basically confirming everything I'm saying regarding the 4-for-1 rule, and him saying that it's basically impossible for Barcelona to keep Messi if they don't sell other players, and saying that he's not going to easen up on those rules just for Barcelona. In a sense, while yes, to Barcelona fans, he kind of becomes a public enemy of like, dude, what the hell? Just come on, like let us easy, like come on, like let us just re-sign Messi. We just went through a pandemic, like it's special scenarios. If you kind of take a step back and look at it, maybe he's actually doing it for the best interest of Barcelona. Because maybe he knows that if Barca does re-sign Messi, like it's just gonna, in the long term, send him to even more debt. So who knows? Maybe him staying strict with these rules is actually for the better. Now, how does this affect everything going forward? I think it kind of is going to be like the epitome of like Laporta, in the sense that, well, now he's gonna be maybe the whole Laporta effect of him coming in and everyone being excited because he was going to renew Messi and he was going to bring in signings and all this may start to go away because Messi's going to leave, and now he isn't just going to leave, but he most likely, what all news and rumors are pointing to is that he would potentially sign for PSG to play alongside Neymar again. And for PSG to sign a player like Messi after they've already signed Donnarumma, Sergio Ramos, which by the way I'm going to talk about that in a different video. Let's see, who else did they bring in? Wijnaldum. To bring in Messi on top of that, you have to sell a player. And who's the player that you're going to sell? Mbappe. Mbappe is the only option, the only player that will bring in enough money to balance out that financial sheet. So in a sense, it's going to end up with Messi leaving Barcelona and facilitating Mbappe's arrival to Real Madrid, which is kind of like a double-edged sword on Barcelona's end. It's crazy. And I mean, as a Madridista, while the common thought is, hell yes, Messi is leaving, we finally don't have to deal with a player that has punished us so much over the past couple decades. It's not good for us. It's not good for us because this makes La Liga less attractive. This makes La Liga less competitive. And it just makes it harder for Barcelona and Real Madrid and even Atletico Madrid and other teams to want to have the potential to attract good players to our league. And to me, this kind of seems like maybe like the beginning of a downhill slope for La Liga. Kind of like what happened with Serie A. The moment Inter became a little worse and AC Milan became a little worse, and then Serie A became super unattractive. Right now they're starting to gain some attraction levels again. I don't know. For the long term, all of this isn't good for La Liga. It may be short term, right away good for Real Madrid because maybe it allows them to bring Mbappe, but in the long term, I don't think this is good. And I mean, I don't know. Guys, let me know down below in the comments what your opinions are. What you think about this. Yeah, maybe I was a little bit biased with certain things I said, but I try to stay as neutral and just kind of talk about the situation as much as I could. If you're new to the account, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We have the final of the Euro coming up and Copa Oro, which we're going to be covering Mexico, and it's going to be all in Spanish. So guys, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you later. Peace out.